When it comes to a phone, we have some natural limitations on what we can do with the camera hardware of it. A full frame sensor is not going to work. Put a Micro Four Third in there and you remove some of that portability that you get with the phone itself, because it does add quite a bit of thickness to the camera hardware. Now, of course, to compensate, we have computational photography these days, but even more so, a new growing trend: AI. Let's discuss the Vivo X200 Pro that does have quite a bit of AI features in it for it. Anyway, let's dive into the Vivo X200 Pro review and its camera capabilities. In my time on this channel through Jermaine's lens, I've been to many places to discover and capture beautiful moments, just to show you what you can do when it comes to mobile photography like no other. And the best part of that for me is to capture a single moment that will never be the same again, including its flaws. But will that come to an end with AI? Because AI is a subject we see more and more. Brands really trying to focus on it and pushing it to no end. Even in some cases putting it in the names of series like we used to have with 5G. But that trend really comes with a two-edged sword. Sure, there are benefits to it to a certain degree, but it can also be overdone and in turn lose what really matters when it comes to especially photography. I remember the days where a company started out by drawing simple lines and that would turn into a photograph or something that looks like it. Even more so now, simply writing a prompt can result in a pretty decent shot, with different sides giving different results. Now, it isn't to that extreme with photography, especially mobile photography. The AI often is more of like removing of subjects or people to potentially create a cleaner look and more focus on the subject that you are trying to shoot. But in the day and age of AI, we will see this happening more and more, where AI will be used to enhance, for instance, zoom shots, where details are trying to be pulled back based on an image that looks blurry or pixelated. A reason why I often don't go past 10 times zoom is simply because of that. That kind of photography doesn't belong on my list. It feels like I really didn't truly capture the shot at all. I'm relying on something else to enhance that image. This isn't the same as editing a shot. Now, why do I mention this? Because with the Vivo X200 Pro we do have some AI features in it as well. In some cases it's pretty subtle, but in some cases you will see a clear effect of the AI. With, for instance, this moonshot that will also increase in size depending on the reflection of the cloud itself. It also makes me question because of it, when I'm purely zooming into the moon itself, is it actually hardware that took that shot, or is it AI that really enhanced the image itself? Now, this naturally isn't a Vivo thing alone. I've seen some shots where a lot of AI is affecting the shot itself by replacing the text on it, with, for instance, Oppo and OnePlus as well. But this is a conversation to be had when it comes to the Vivo X200 Pro and actually mobile photography for the future. Don't get me wrong, I think the shot of the moon really adds a nice effect to it, even though the scaling is clearly off. The shot doesn't feel far off from what I'm actually trying to shoot here. But I do hope that we do not push further to it, where I question all parts of the shot itself. AI has a place in life, but what I'm trying to say is that I hope it doesn't become a trend where the hardware suffers because of it, where it becomes second to AI. Now, there's a lot to like when it comes to the Vivo X200 Pro and its performance. We get a great display, great battery life, and we get solid audio performance as well. But of course, when it comes to the camera, we can also discuss the amazing zoom level capability that allows me to get really good quality shots with the periscope, to having great possibilities with the macro as well, and then portrait being solid too. With the camera experience, I would say it's very reliable. But no phone is perfect, and this counts for the Vivo X200 Pro as well. Let's discuss the different modes on the Vivo X200 Pro and what I want to see a little bit different for the future. Now, I do have a suggestion when it comes to what you get on the Vivo X200 Pro and the camera experience. We have 3 different modes that you can shoot in: vivid, size natural, and textured. Now, let's discuss that texture part, because I think the vivid and the size natural are perfect for what they are. Really good shots, but of course a little bit brighter. What I'm missing here is something special. And texture mode is basically a kind of like natural and vivid together, but up the contrast. What I miss on the Vivo X200 Pro when it comes to those kinds of normal shots is that mood, that feeling into it. But the funny thing is, they already have something in there that can create that kind of feeling in the shot itself. Something similar to vintage mode. Even call it vintage mode and use that to create more of that feeling in the shot itself that I'm missing when it comes to the Vivo X200 Pro. I feel like that is the one part where it lacks in comparison to some other brands like Xiaomi. That feeling and that mood in the shot itself. So my suggestion is, use that vintage filter style, or effect style is the better name for it, and use that to create a new style by removing textured and adding vintage. This will allow for that feeling, that mood that I'm looking for to come back, because the other two will do the job just perfectly fine when it comes to what they are capable of. Naturally, in the time that I've had the Vivo X200 Pro, I haven't experienced summer or hardly any sun at all. But there are moments where I had it, like for instance in my city of Arnhem, where I took the following shots. Now, in terms of color, it comes close to what I'm actually looking at, reflecting the colors really well, apart from some difference in saturation and contrast, especially when it comes to those darker shadows. And while I love shots with a really nice contrast in colors, I even like it more when it comes to the black and white. Black and white shots really stand out in these kinds of situations, and the Vivo X200 Pro provides that as well. But with the Vivo X200 Pro, I will say there's a tendency to sharpen up the images as stated before, and I feel like with black and white shots it really needs to turn down that sharpness effect. Make it a feature of the style itself to really give the beautiful contrasty black and white shot. But with all those styles and possibilities within the new Vivo X200 Pro, I have taken some amazing shots, be it in my city of Arnhem, be it in Amsterdam, or be it in France. The Vivo X200 Pro is an excellent camera from a technical standpoint, but with a few pointers, it will also be an excellent camera with amazing character as well. It just needs to work on that part of it. Now, I also want to showcase a little bit of log video recording and the capabilities of it when it comes to the Vivo X200 Pro, because this is where I think it's really good. Having 10-bit log video recording is excellent on the Vivo X200 Pro. So here are some shots taken on the Vivo X200 Pro in log. While most of my photography often comes to daytime photography because that is my preference, I like that feeling a little bit more. That being said, Vivo is one of those brands that really has a lot of focus on low light photography performance. And while it isn't my favorite time to shoot, you have some amazing possibilities with this Vivo X200 Pro. Even more so in this Christmas time where you get a lot of nice warm lights. Where I created some of my favorite shots because of the city of Arnhem also having that warmer feeling to it. And that includes these stunning older buildings that I hope will always stay, because we know we have a trend these days where modern buildings are just ugly and plain and are soulless. Now, with the Vivo X200 Pro before the global release, there were questions about whether you don't or do have issues with lens flare. And realistically, it depends a little bit on the shot that I'm creating. Yes, it can have issues with lens flare, and I have turned on reduced lens flare. But also, it can have pictures that come out perfectly without any light source issues. I know this doesn't really help, but that has been my experience with it. But when it comes to low light photography and video on the Vivo X200 Pro, it does capture a lot of detail, but I would like to see that sharpening, contrast, brightness and saturation control in night mode as well. Most of my low light shots are all in auto because I can reduce that there, especially the sharpening itself, where I cannot do that in low light mode, which is on the landscape photography on this Vivo X200 Pro. So that is my take on the Vivo X200 Pro. There's a lot to like about it, but it is fighting a thin line when it comes to that AI and integrating it into photography. It's not a part that I enjoy when it comes to my results. Therefore, I'm not zooming in past a certain amount because you will get an effect that I'm not a fan of because of that AI effect, that enhancement. It just doesn't feel right to me. That being said, if we ignore that part, the Vivo X200 Pro is an excellent phone with great camera capabilities, and yes, it can somewhat, depending on the shot itself, compete with the X100 Ultra as well. Link in the description where you can check that video out, where I compare this to, of course, the X100 Ultra and the camera of them. Either way, at the end, the Vivo X200 Pro, what do you think about the camera capabilities and what did you think about this video? I was trying to do a little bit of a different work when it comes to the editing side of it. Either way, before we go, I really want to thank my members. Thank you so much for the support. If you want to become a member, you can click join somewhere below. I would really appreciate it, but there's never a need. And else, don't forget to subscribe and like the video and comment and so on. It helps the video out. Either way, hope you enjoyed the video and talk to you guys in the next.